welcome to Creator Toolbox. This is the show where we show you, the ServiceNow developer, admin, builder, how to use the tools that we provide in order to build awesome apps and automate your processes on ServiceNow on the Now platform. We have a fun show today. We're going to be talking about App Engine Studio, but before we get into that, let's do some introductions. My name is Brad Tilton, and I am a senior developer advocate with a developer program here at ServiceNow. I've been developing on the platform for a while now as a customer partner, and I've been an employee for almost the last 5 years now. So we'll go ahead and go around the horn and do some more intros. Chris.
All right, thanks, Brad. Hey, everybody, I'm Chris Haas. I lead our developer experience product team on our platform BU. I've actually been at ServiceNow for a little over 6 years, so I got you by a year there, Brad. I started here as an engineer and switched over into product, and we've been doing awesome things: App Engine Studio, Dev Studio, Visual Studio Code extensions, all the great things developers love. So Gina works with me. Over to you, Gina. Oh, got the
awesome. Thanks so much, Chris. My name is Gina. I am a product manager here at ServiceNow. I work on App Engine Studio. Been at ServiceNow for about a year and a half. It's been really fun. Thanks for inviting me here today.
Yeah, thanks for being here. It's always really great when we get the product team on these calls. So anybody in the chat, if you've got questions about what's new in Rome with App Engine Studio, we're going to be kind of going through some demos, but feel free to drop some questions in there and we'll take those as we go. So before we get into the screen share, I just want to real quick, we released the newest version of App Engine Studio via the store last Thursday. So at some point during the day, you could go into your PDI and hit update or upgrade and install the new updates. And so we'll show that in a minute here. And then you get all these new features that we're going to be going over today. And so, you know, App Engine Studio is one of these newer products where we're releasing through the store instead of the family releases. And that's so that we can, you know, deliver more goodness faster to developers. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the screen share here. And we'll see how fast I can hit all of these buttons at once. So let's share all of these buttons. Oh. And I am hearing myself now. Why am I hearing myself? All right. I am hearing myself now. Great.
Live feedback.
We had some technical difficulties getting started, and we continue to have them.
Live feedback.
So, do I have a difficulties getting started, and we continue to have them? Chris, do you happen to have the YouTube stream up on your computer?
I do not know.
Chris, do you have wow, sorry everybody. Let me this is what happens when I run production by myself. Found it. All right. We should be good now. Okay. So now we're going to get into it. All right. So this is my PDI personal developer instance. I've got my plugins list here, and I wanted to show before we get into the demo how you would get from that first version of App Engine Studio into the version that we released this past Thursday. And I have filtered for App Engine Studio here. And I've got this install update. I have the updates already installed. There are some template updates that for whatever reason I didn't end up installing before. But if you want to check it, I believe the current version of App Engine Studio is 20.0.1. And so if you want to check and make sure you're on the latest version, it should look something like this and say it's installed and all of that goodness there. So that was the first thing I did. And so let's go into App Engine Studio. I think the first update that we can look at was we renamed this menu application from App Engine Studio to App Engine. And I believe that's because we have more things in there, or it was just a little bit simpler to find. Is that?
Yeah, you pretty much got it there. I mean, we're really growing this suite of applications offered under App Engine. And so it just made sense to refactor the navigator so folks can find our stuff better. So you're going to see a lot more things appear under here every release.
All right. So I've got App Engine Studio opened here. I've got an app that I created that is very simple called Research Request. And this is a use case that's basically, my department handles research requests. This is pretty common with like law firms and things like that. We may want to have somebody submit a request to do some research, and then the research department would fulfill that request and get back to the person with the research. So right now, this is a pretty simple app. I just have a couple of tables. There's not really going on in these tables, but we're going to start with the new collaboration features. So if you haven't done any collaboration in App Engine Studio yet, it was before this new release, it was kind of difficult to share apps with other people. It was technically doable, but you had to know some table names and things like that. So we have added this button here to manage collaborators. And if I click on it, I can invite people to collaborate on my app. We've got a couple of levels already with editor and owner, but I want to go show on the back end, how you could add one of these. I forget the name of the thing, but we'll see it in just a minute. But I could come in and I do have Abraham Lincoln. And I could add Abraham Lincoln as an editor and hit send. And so this is going to send them a request, but I think before that, we send somebody an approval. Is that right? We've got an approving group.
That's right. If you go into, go back to the groups and check the approval group, you'll see who are the approvers.
Yeah, so I think I have this group set up. And this is a group, it gets installed by default when you update, I'm guessing, called App Engine. Is it admins?
It's
Yeah, so we've got this approval group. I stuck Andrew and Abel in here. Since Andrew's not a dev advocate anymore, he gets to be in my demo data.
Nice.
So if we look at the approvals, I'm guessing there is an approval somewhere.
Have to impersonate as one of the approvers.
Yeah, so we've got these approvals here, and we could. Since I'm an admin, I can do whatever I want with these approvals, right? So if we hit approved, then I'm guessing this changes from pending collaborators to collaborators. Yeah, there we go. So now Abraham Lincoln is an editor of the app, and that's been approved. So I love that feature. Just another way that we are allowing admins to have some control over this and add some governance to it is really great.
What's really cool is that we really put the power into the developers' hands for them to collaborate with each other, but we still have that layer of governance for our platform owners and admins to still have that oversight that they might want as far as proving who can do what in what application. So really cool feature.
Yeah, and then the other thing that I really liked was this descriptors. So we've got by default, we've got editor and owner, but we can add new descriptors. So I'm going to add one, and we're going to just call it like mobile. Let's call it mobile dev.
A note here, Brad, is that we want to add it to the global application scope.
Ooh,
for it to show up in the collaboration UI. Yeah, we haven't added functionality for other scopes.
Don't do what Brad did. Switch to global. And then we will come in and we'll call this something else. Let's say mobile. We'll just call it mobile. Keep things simple. And then we have this new development permission sets. So if I go edit, I believe these are basically all of the different delegated development options. And so these are, I think these are these the same delegated development options that I would see in Dev Studio. I get to pick from here.
Yeah, that's right.
So let's go, let's add Mobile Studio. And let's do tables and forms.
Good selections, Brad. Good selections.
Then we'll save it. So it looks like if I tell somebody they're now a mobile developer, they should be able to get tables and forms in Mobile Studio. So let's go back into Studio. Am I going to have to refresh? No, that's nice. All right. So let's take, what do we have? George Washington here. Yeah. So let's make George Washington a mobile developer. And then we'll go back in and approve it again. And then we will impersonate George Washington and see what he has. All right, so I've approved that. Let's come in and impersonate. All right, and then we'll hit let's go, although we already had it open. And then I have a lot of apps in this instance, but you'll notice that the only one that shows up is the research request app. So this is what I shared with this user. So if I click into it, we'll see that George Washington has access to manipulate the tables because we gave him that tables and forms role, and then also has the ability to add an experience. If I hit add, there are normally 4 options that come up. But since George Washington only has access to do mobile, it is going to go ahead and put him into the mobile wizard here, which is nice. I honestly, I expected to have to choose an experience, but it's kind of nice that it kicked me right into this one because that's the only experience, that I can customize as George Washington. So this is the next new App Engine Studio feature that we're going to look at, which is the mobile. Are we calling it Mobile Wizard? Is that kind of the name for this sort of thing?
Mobile Wizard. That sounds good.
Mobile Wizard. Let's
rolls off the tongue. Yeah, let's just do it.
So last week we did some things with mobile. We had the mobile product team on Creator Toolbox, and they took us through a demo of the new mobile app builder. And then we did a blog, and then Earl led Live Coding Happy Hour on Friday, where he built some stuff in mobile app builder. And so this mobile wizard is going to kind of be along the same lines as the mobile app builder in terms of the new terminology with screens instead of applets. But let's go ahead and go in here. To get started, the first thing that it asked me is which app do I want to use? So we'll go ahead and say mobile agent because we're going to make an experience for our researchers. So generally, mobile agent is kind of process users, and the mobile is more of a general employee experience.
Yeah, or the easy way to put that is like requesters, usually the now mobile, and fulfillers, the agent.
All right, yeah. So we'll call it research request. Sure, let's make it available offline. I'll hit continue. And it's going to ask me, do we want a list or a mobile web experience? So mobile web experience would just open up a URL via mobile. I would say the most common use case for mobile web is generally, showing a service portal page within the mobile app. But let's go ahead and go list. And it's going to let me select a table. It knows that the two tables associated with my app are these research and type tables, or request and type tables. So let's hit request. And we'll set some conditions here. And I want active as true. And then let's look for things that are assigned to me. Why do we not have any search results here? Well, let's just pretend I did that and move on. Yay, demos. All right. And then for the screen label, we'll just call it research request again.
Yeah, and what's really cool is how you see that update there on the right. So you can actually get a really great visualization of what your mobile experience is really going to be like. And so one of the really cool features of the mobile wizard, if you've ever experienced building an application through Guided App Creator or the mobile wizard that's currently in App Engine Studio, it's very much like, hey, just tell us what table, and we'll just throw that on your mobile device or make that your mobile experience. With this, you can define multiple lists. Like you were trying to do, Brad, you were trying to do research request assigned to me. You can do research requests, open, close, all that good stuff. So you can have multiple lists and ways to get at your data, which is really cool.
Yeah, that is great. I like the idea of being able to add more screens here. Like you were saying, you can really do a lot of configuration just from this wizard before you even get into mobile app builder. So I'm going to say I'm done. We'll just do this one screen here. It's going to create all of the artifacts for us on the back end. And so now we could say, hey, this is nice, but let's edit it even a little more. And I think this mobile app builder, well, obviously this mobile app builder integration where you can open it up within App Engine Studio is new because mobile app builder itself is new. But then I get the mobile app builder to load in here. If you're interested more in the mobile app builder, I would go back to the developer blog, which is devlink.sn/blog, and the latest post is mobile app builder, and we've got links to the videos we did last week. But you can see that we have created some things in mobile app builder. I won't get too deep into this because we did spend some time on it last week. But this is a nice, we created this initial mobile app, and then now you can really get in and configure it. All right, and then the last thing, or the last thing for now that I want to show is the source control integration through App Engine Studio. And you'll notice that you don't see any options for source control integration here, and that's because we're still impersonating George Washington. So I'm going to go back and stop that impersonation. And if we come back in and reload App Engine Studio, we get this source control integration. Oh, there we go. So if I click down, we're not linked to source control yet. So that's the first thing I need to do. So let's go ahead and click link to source control. I have a Git repo created for this. So I'm going to grab that. We've got our branch. I'm just going to use the default here. And then one thing that I ran into was I did this yesterday and stared at the screen and was like, why can I not click on this? And you do have to scroll down, and depending on the browser you're using and where the scroll bars are, it may be kind of obvious, and maybe it's embarrassing to admit that it took me a while to figure out that I needed to scroll. One thing to call out is that you do have to have the credentials set up in the instance already. There's not a way to create credentials from within App Engine Studio. So you do have to go in and create the Git credentials. So let's say initial commit. Let's hope that those are the right credentials in this demo instance.
Good.
And it looks like we are linked. So if I close that and we go back over here. All right, we do see that we've got some things in this repo now. I have my initial commit comment. And so if we were to come in and make some change, like this table needs a field. So let's add a field to it. And we'll just call it name. And we'll make it the display field. So if I save that and come back, we should be able to commit our changes here. So let's go ahead and continue. Added the name field. And then if we come back, we should see, yeah, there's my new commit. So I believe, Chris, that the source control capabilities from App Engine Studio, are they just about the same as you get in our Dev Studio?
Yeah,
or are there little differences?
Exactly the same. So they're pretty much the exact same offering we have in Dev Studio is now available in App Engine Studio, just with a newer, cooler UI. But watch out for those scroll bars, apparently.
That's right. Yeah, so I can create a new branch. I could, pull down the newest changes. I can edit the repository configuration here. All those same things that you can do from within Dev Studio. So I have a question. When I saw that source control was available in App Engine Studio, I was a little curious, why add source control to App Engine Studio? If it, it kind of seems like this is more of a low code tool for citizen developers. What was the reason behind adding source control there?
Yeah, well, I mean, that really goes back to our vision for App Engine Studio. And really, App Engine Studio is meant for developers of all skill levels. That is truly our ultimate vision. We are focusing more on the low coder, no coders, folks with non-scripting abilities. But overall, our vision is to actually make this the end all be all for every developer, no matter what skills you have. So source control is actually crucial to our collaboration story. So it actually enables things like we call it, Gina, I'm missing the term, collision avoidance, right? Yeah. So in order to ensure, we've got great collaboration features enabling developers to invite other developers to build together. And in order to ensure that those developers don't collide and overwrite each other's changes, we need to actually have those applications tied to source control. So really ensuring that source control as part of App Engine Studio is like the foundation for ensuring we have a good collaboration story going forward. And what's also good to note here is source control, yeah, you would definitely consider that more of a pro coder type feature, right? People most normal people don't understand branching and commits, right? They're not you, Brad, they're not me. But what's really great about adding source control to App Engine Studio is that we also added a delegated development permission to control the ability to turn that on and off. So as a platform owner, if you want to tie your applications to a repo, but don't want to expose that source control button and that functionality to your citizen developers, you can actually just turn that off through the collaboration feature, and they don't have exposure to that. But we will go ahead and automatically do the commits and the pushes as those developers do submit their applications for deployment. So yeah, you can actually show it off right here under custom.
Yeah, let's look at it. So customize, is this customized permissions?
Yep. Only administrators have access to the customized permissions. And if you scroll down here, I know there's scroll bars also hidden. You can see the source control. Now, out of the box for editors, we don't ship it with source control turned on for the delegated developer. But admin can always change that depending on how the organization is being run.
Yeah, that's great. I do really like being able to, assign somebody a role, but then you could kind of come in here and edit it a little bit. So, that changed from editor to custom once we decided to change the permissions a little bit. I guess while we're here, we can also show there are some new delegated development features in Roam. We did show those off, I think it was back in August. But if you kind of scroll through here, these are also available in Dev Studio. But there are, a few more things available like UI Builder, at least. What else? Manage collaborators, I'm sure is new. And then delete application was a new one. We wanted to give some people the ability to delete applications. If you're in dev and you created an application and it's, taking the scope that you want and, it needs to be recreated, you can let people delete it and recreate it there.
The really cool thing about collaboration is it used to be an admin only job. So administrators would have access to manage developers and be able to delegate applications and permissions out. But now with the collaboration feature, developers can also delegate applications out to their co-creators, and admins will manage them through the manage collaborator permission you saw at the bottom of this modal, and also the invite. The difference between manage and invite collaborators is that manage you can remove, add, and assign different descriptors, whereas invite is a little bit more limited permission. You can only allow the developer to invite other developers and do nothing else.
Awesome. That's great. All right. I believe that is the end of what I had planned for the demo here. Are there anything that I missed that that y'all want to kind of point out here?
I think it was a great demo, and I really kind of want to drive home that collaboration was a big push that we made. Right, we want to enable developers of all skill levels, but we want to enable them to create together. So that was an awesome feature that we built in, but we also did so with the platform owner and our admins in mind, right? Governance was a big thing for us. So making sure that App Engine Studio respected delegated development is definitely one of the big parts of our September release here, tied into collaboration, additional delegated development permissions for controlling things like source control, the ability to publish, the ability to submit your app. That's all now tied into our governance model here. So all really, really cool stuff to enable developers to truly work together and get things done faster. So more to come, and we're releasing every quarter. So folks, prepare yourselves for our next release coming up here in December.
All right, thanks, Chris. I apologize for the barking. I forgot to put the dog up before we went on the show. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and end the screen share here. If anybody has questions before we drop off, put them in the chat. But let's go ahead and stop sharing. All right, are there any questions? I'll give it a few seconds here before we drop off. In the meantime, We will be doing more App Engine Studio activities this week. We'll have a blog coming out detailing a lot of these changes. And then on Friday's live coding happy hour, we'll be taking a board game management app that we built a couple of weeks ago, and we're going to invite Earl as a collaborator, and he's going to be doing some enhancement to the board game app since both of us are pretty into board games. So we have a question: are there any new templates expected soon?
Yeah, actually, we released 2 new templates back. I think it was in July. I think it was the event management app, and I believe it was the time tracker, if memory serves. So yes, we did release those 2 new templates, and we do have quite a few in our backlog that we're working towards right now. Release dates are TBD, but we're looking at things like request management, task management, case management, those types of templates to help you really get started with those types of use cases. So those are definitely coming. And we're also constantly adding more what we call object templates. So when you go to create a flow today, you have a selection of templates to start from. That's going to multiply very shortly. Same thing with UX templates. We're looking to create more workspace and portal templates. So that's all planned in the backlog. So stay tuned for those.
Awesome. All right, Earl has a question. What's your favorite new thing per person? I think he wants all of us to answer this. I'll go first. I really like the flexibility of the descriptors. I love the idea of being able to package some of those delegated development permissions together. I think especially once you scale and you've got, probably you're going to put some of your citizen developers through some sort of training. And once they get through the training, they'll have access to, different parts of App Engine Studio. So I love the idea of being able to make that simpler for admins to manage and not have to pick out all the little delegated development levels all the time.
Awesome.
What about y'all?
I'll go next. So definitely, I think if I had to choose one, and you're asking me to choose between my children here, so I'm going to go with mobile, right? I think we've done a great job with mobile with Guided App Creator and the current version or previous version, but really this version of that mobile wizard will truly get you to a production-ready mobile application by the end of that wizard. So although we've made great improvements over Mobile Studio with the new mobile app builder, our goal is to, within a few screens, get you to a production-ready mobile app where you don't even have to go into those experiences to get your app to a point where it's production-ready. So really check it out. I mean, it really gets you going within just those few screens. So that's definitely my fave.
Well, and then my favorite is my children is collaboration, and also the new delegated dev permissions we've enabled. And I think expanding the delegated dev permissions really allows admins to dissipate and give out the responsibilities to developers and allow everyone to build apps faster. And with the new collaboration UI, you saw how it is. I think it's beautiful, and I think it will really add value to companies who want to create apps faster.
Cool. We did have one more question come in. Some guy named Corey asked, "Who's your favorite developer and why is it me?"
All right, we love you, Corey. No, this would be possible without you.
All right. Well, with that, I think we will go ahead and end the show. Thank you, Chris and Jina, for being here. It was great. We love having PMs on the show to give some extra context and why we're doing things and where we're headed. So thank you all so much for being on.
All right. Thanks for having us, Brad.
Thank you so much.
Well, thanks everybody, and we will see you again on Friday for Live Coding Happy Hour.
All right.